So let's just go ahead and get it going. All right, another daily close. It is Monday. All right, so you guys know it's never really a good time to trade. Usually when the market opens, unless you see a setup that fits your risk parameters and your account size. Um, but the most important thing when what's going on, my brother? What's going on? The most important thing when the market opens is letting prices settle down. Letting the markets breathe. Okay, you have to understand. The amateurs are usually trading in the beginning of the week, while the pros and the professionals wait for the middle. Okay, that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right, my brother. Appreciate you hopping on, bro. Drive safe. All right. All right, so to continue, again, just want to go over a couple setups we're looking to execute on. We have a potential markups we're looking at actually on USD JPY, Euro Yen, and others as well. So let's just go ahead and get it going. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to contact, say anything in the chat, or stop me for whatever reason if I'm going too fast, or if you guys have any questions. All right, so gonna go ahead and start off with USD JPY. I really like how this pair is setting itself up. All right, if you guys remember, all right, we actually called a sell up here.
Right.
All right, we called.
So remember,
let me go ahead and just mute everybody.
Later on this evening, we head to Pembroke at the Pembroke Heritage Park, 7 p.m. for the Salaka Feast.
And awesome. Okay, so I apologize about that. Okay, so again, we called a sell, I believe, back up here, and you guys can see we dropped, we consolidated, we dropped again, and we're looking for essentially the same thing to happen. All right, so let me go ahead and just delete that. Okay, so we are now in a downtrend. All right, you guys, the first step is always to identify the trend. All right. Okay, and it could be on an uptrend, it could be on a downtrend, and essentially what defines these uptrends and downtrends is just looking at the highs and the lows. All right, we can see that we've just been creating a series of lower highs, and a potential new lower high. All right, we've been creating lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. Okay, so we are currently in a downtrend. All right, now that we identified what trend we are in, we know where to take our positions. Just keeping it simple, we know we should be selling. We're looking for long-term sells. Okay, and with that being said, we look for support and resistance, or resistance to support in those situations. Okay. Okay, support to resistance. So we're in a downtrend, and you guys can see we had support right here, which came resistance, and resistance, we dropped. Okay, so we're looking for the same thing to happen. We have support right over here to our left. All right, now we have potential new resistance coming up. All right, we're in a downtrend. We have support to resistance, but we need to wait for price to penetrate this area. All right, we want to see price go into this green zone and reject. Okay, which is the last thing for to confirm the entry, you guys. The last thing is some rejection. All right, we usually see that rejection with some candlestick reversal. Okay. So once we've identified these three things, we have a high probability setup, and we can also add some more confirmations. Okay, we can add a lot more confluence, to to tip the balance of this trade. All right, but at the end of the day, we know that every situation is unique and anything can happen. All right, and we will have a hot topic this Sunday, you guys. For we're going to be talking about the fundamental truth of the market. So stay in tune for that. It's going to be there's going to be a lot of value on that call. But essentially, just looking at the setup. All right, adding some more confluence on top of these three things we listed up here. All right, we can bring out some Fibonacci. All right, and if those of you who are not familiar, it just measures the retracement. All right, you guys know price usually tends to make impulses and retracements. All right, so we're essentially just measuring the retracement levels. And we can see we are potentially hovering around a 38.2 fib level. All right, and I do see we do have some confluence with our moving average. Okay, so our moving average acts as support and resistance, but it's considered dynamic because it moves with price. Okay, so I say we have our moving average in this zone. Okay, and just looking at the zone itself, you guys can see this red zone to the right is at the 107 zone. Okay, so this zone is a key psychological area. All right, so prices tend to reverse at these psychological zones. And if you guys have gone through the boot camp and the academy, you guys should know what these psychological zones are. All right, so we've gone over them in the academy. All right, so price tends to reverse at these zones. Okay, so like any, anything that ends in 100 or a 500. So just looking to the right, we see we have price at 109,500. You see we have price at 110,000. Okay. Ends in 500, ends in 500, ends in 0. So these zones are psychological zones, you guys. And you can see just looking at the past, you guys, we tend to have a lot of reversals at these areas. Why do we have reversals at these areas? Just think of it. All right. Just think about it, okay? When you're putting your stop loss and when you're putting your entry points, your TPs, all right, a lot of people are, they're, no offense, a lot of people are lazy, okay? They don't want to enter too many numbers in their stop loss. For example, if I have a clean stop loss like 10500, all right, that's easier to input on my MetaTrader as opposed to entering a stop loss like 107,627 or 108,659 something. That's something it's kind of hard to enter on your MetaTrader. All right, so being able to place these stops at these zones, these psychological zones, especially those who are trading on a higher time frame. Okay, if you're on a higher time frame, you're only going to see these psychological zones. All right, as opposed to going down to the 15-minute, you guys can see we have a lot of zones. We have the 106,600, the 106,580. All right, so essentially what I'm trying to say is these zones tend to have a lot of reversal. Okay, and the reason they do is because a lot of people place their stops in their limits in these zones. Okay, so that's why we tend to have a lot of reaction. Okay, when price gets to these areas. All right, and again, if you've gone through the boot camp, all right, if you've gone through the technical analysis boot camp, there was a full page on support and resistance and psychological zones as well. Okay. But other than that, again, we were just stacking confirmations. We have the trend, we have support and resistance, we have our candlestick reversal, we added our Fibonacci, and we have a key psychological zone. And again, the only thing we are waiting on is just some penetration for some candlestick reversal. All right. You guys can see in the past, we had wick rejection, rejection. So if we get in one more time, that would be a nice entry. Okay. And we can also extend a potential trend line. Okay. If it breaks this, it can be another added confirmation to execute our trade. All right. So again, we're just scaling down on our time frames and looking for confluence and confirmations. All right. And I know Bree, you did have a question about my moving average. Currently, I did switch it to I believe the 21 moving average and the 8 moving average. Okay, so the red is the 21 and the blue is the 8. So I could just pull up the settings. So yeah, 21 and 8. Okay, and I don't use just these moving averages for confirmations. I use them in confluence with everything else. Okay, and the biggest things you want to be using are, again, the trend, number one. Is there support and resistance, number two, and number three, do we have a candlestick reversal? All right, you can use this setup, this strategy, this confirmation for any time frame. Just know it's not going to work for every setup. The reason I say that is because this is a probabilistic game. All right, every moment is unique and anything can happen. That's why I want you guys to stay tuned for this fundamental call, I believe, on Sunday. But again, thinking in probabilities, all right, just because it doesn't work doesn't mean you can't be consistent, doesn't mean you can't be profitable. All right, but to continue, USD Chef. All right, let's go ahead and go on the daily. We called a buy on this trade last week, you guys. All right, simply starting from scratch. I'm gonna remove everything. All right. You guys know we always like to identify our market. Okay, is the market going up? Is the market going down? Or is it going sideways? We use support and resistance or trend lines to identify this. Okay, and again, looking at definitions of uptrends and downtrends is just a series of higher highs, higher lows, or a series of lower highs, lower lows, or if it's consolidating, it's just going sideways. All right, we see we have lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, but even though it is downtrending and we did take a buy off this trade, the reason we took a buy off this trade is because it got to an area of strong support. Okay, so you guys know we should always be buying at support and selling at resistance. So though it was downtrending, all right, we should have been looking for long-term sells. We caught a short-term buy. Okay, just capturing these zones. All right, we said if price is able to maintain above here, we can still hold on our buying position. Okay, but essentially we had a double bottom. Okay, all right, so we had strong support. All right, so again, even though the market was trending down, all right, it's not going to go down forever. It needs to consolidate. All right, the market needs to consolidate in order to accumulate money, in order for it to continue. This is how the market works. It never goes in a straight line forever, you guys. All right, so this pause happens. All right, this consolidation is meant for the next drive. All right. And obviously, you know, the longer the consolidation, the longer the drive is going to be. Okay, so again, why does it consolidate? We'll go over that on a different day, but essentially it just traps money into the market. The more money into the market is good for again, the liquidity and the volume, all right, because you guys should know that in order for you to gain profits, again, someone has to lose profits. So that's why consolidation happens. Okay, it accumulates money. All right, and again, we saw this previous support zone. All right, and looking at our technicals, we see that price was losing strength. Okay, it was slowing down. Just looking at these black candlesticks, which represent bearish momentum. All right, you guys can see the size of them compared to the candlestick right after it. All right, this bullish candlestick engulfed the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of price action. Okay, we had price come back to retest this daily close back here. You guys can see we had a break, retest. This daily, we actually got in at this purple line, you guys, or pink line, whatever it may be, and engulfed this daily candlestick engulfed the last previous, and we had some continuation. Okay, and just scaling down. All right, I believe we are up 85 pips. Okay, scaling down to the 4-hour, we saw that it broke this zone here, I believe, before the market had closed, I believe, last week. Okay, and essentially we had a flag formation right here, strong impulse. Okay, and it looks like we are back. Looks like we're still testing this area, hovering in this area. All right, though on the higher time frame, the daily, it looks like we did manage to break above. Okay, break and close above our moving average and this zone as well. Okay, so we can see some potential follow through. All right, if you guys are still in this trade, you want to secure profits. All right, we are still in break even, so it is a risk-free trade. All right, TP2 would be the top of this zone. Okay, and we know that it's on a long-term, downtrend. Okay, long-term we should be looking for since it's in a downtrend, we should be looking for long-term sells. Okay, so we can look for a potential selling position back at the top of this zone. All right, we could have a potential triple top. All right, so this would be a nice setup. Okay, USD JPY, we went over that. Gold, I was doing a couple one-on-ones this morning and I actually missed this selling opportunity. The reason we're going to call this sell, again, we had price break this trend line. Okay, broke this trend line. All right, and you guys can see even before that, let's just go ahead and discuss this. We had this strong candlestick, a strong 4-hour candlestick. You guys can see it engulfed the last previous candlesticks, and essentially it's the biggest candlestick in this zone, this 4-hour zone. Okay, we marked the swing low and the swing highs, right? And we had a strong impulse, came back up to test this. I believe this was a monthly trend line. So let's just go ahead and start from scratch. Let's go ahead and start fresh. All right, just going off on the higher time frame. All right, I see that we are back at these zones right here. Okay, strong monthly zones, a lot of wick rejection. All right, and if price is able to come back up here, we'll see what happens. Okay, so gold is a safe haven currency. So usually when there's a lot of things going on fundamentally, trade wars, Brexit, a lot of uncertainty. All right, investors like to dump their money into these safe haven currencies, okay, because of their volatility, and essentially it doesn't move as fast. Okay, so when Trump tweets something or whatever, something happens. That's why we see in gold just booming lately. All right, because with the trade wars, the uncertainty, Brexit, everything else. Okay. So again, we have a trend line down here. We have 1 touch, 2 touch. We can potentially look for a 3rd touch. Okay. And I copied and pasted this trend line. And I see we have, again, 3 touches here. 1, 2, and we are respecting it right over here. Okay. So we are at, again, drawing using our Fibonacci tool from the swing high. I believe it was this swing high. You can see we are hovering around that 61 fib. Okay, scaling down to the weekly. Okay, we see we have some indecision on the weekly time frame. Okay, we had a doji, so essentially price came up, came down, and it closed right in the middle. So buyers and sellers weren't really sure what to do. Okay, so this weekly close will be important. Going down on the daily. All right, mark up the daily lows and the daily high. All right, so we can see if price is able to bounce or break this zone. Okay, so this would be a daily zone. All right, and I do see we also have a very strong trend as well. Right over here, we're trending up. Okay, go ahead and copy that. I like to use my trend lines and channels to identify, where price is at. Okay, so I can see we are at the top of this trend line. Okay, and we are at the top of this trend line. So what I'm trying to show you guys is okay, so we have essentially, this is where we're at right now. We're at the top. Okay, so we can see 2 things happen. We can see price push up even further, all right, or price can come back down, okay, and make that lower high. Okay, I'm sorry, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher high, just in the definition of an uptrend. All right, we're just keeping it simple. All right, if this uptrend needs to continue, we are looking for a retracement. Okay, so let's just go ahead and scale down even further. We're on the daily, looking at the daily, indecision. All right, this candlestick did engulf. All right, we are testing daily lows. All right, you guys can see wick rejection, wick rejection, wick rejection, wick rejection, wick rejection. All right, just reading price. All right. All right, and then I also want to mark up, this is the 4-hour. We're on the 4-hour time frame. This is the lowest point the 4-hour time frame got, and this was the highest point the 4-hour time frame got. Okay, so we actually looked for some selling positions earlier. As soon as we broke, we had a flag. Okay, and we also broke this support zone here, and we retested right over here with this doji. Okay, strong rejection, but you guys can see we are testing and we're sitting on that daily zone. Okay, that daily swing low. We're on the daily lows. You guys see wick rejection, wick rejection, wick rejection, wick rejection. So we're still testing that daily low. If we do manage to break, okay, we can look to sell it down to here, the 4-hour swing low. Okay, we can look to sell it down to here. If it breaks here, we can look to catch it on this trend line. Okay, we can look to catch it on this trend line. All right, if it breaks this trend line, we can look to sell it down to some support zones in the past, right over here. Okay, or even this trend line, we'll see. Okay, so if that does not happen, all right, if we do break here, retest, come down here, all right, we can look for some rejection. All right, so we can look for some rejection here to come back up, or we can look for some rejection here, reversal for price to come back up. All right, so it looks like it's consolidating in this 4-hour time frame. It's just bouncing in this zone. It's just bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. So we'll see what happens. All right, anything can happen. It's still Monday. Keep that in mind. All right, again, so we can see break or bounce here. If we break below, retest, we can sell down to here. If it gets down to here, we're looking for a break or bounce situation again. We can reverse to the upside, or we can break below again, retest, continuation. Doing the same thing, we can see if price holds right over here. If we don't, all right, if it breaks below that, again, break, retest, continuation. So just keeping our options open. Okay, but just keeping it simple. Let me go ahead and clear that up. All right, so again, we are testing daily swing lows. If we manage to break or bounce these daily swing lows, all right, we can see how it reacts to our 4-hour swing low. All right, if it does break that, we can catch it at our trend line. If it, again, all these are bounce or break situations. All right, bounce or break situation means it's at a key position where you can either buy if it maintains support, okay, or sell if it breaks support, okay. So essentially that's what we're doing. We're waiting to see how price reacts, all right. AU on a downtrend, all right, we're kind of sitting in the middle, all right, of no man's land. All right, we're just bouncing in this strong impulse. All right, strong impulse down, we're kind of just chilling. All right, we want to look for some selling positions if it comes back to these green zones. All right, and we want to look for buying positions if it comes back down over here. Okay, so just keeping it simple. All right, we want to sell at resistance and we want to buy at support. Okay, it's not like we buy and sell as soon as it gets there. Again, we have to wait for that candlestick reversal. Okay, pin bar, engulfing, whatever it may be, to entice us to get in. But again, we're trading with the trend. The trend is going down. We have potential support to resistance. All right, and if we come back up here, we can look for selling positions. Euro pound, still on an uptrend, still want to hold off on this. Okay, go ahead and remove everything. Going on the monthly time frame, we are back at some previous resistance. Okay, 1, 2, 3 touches in this zone. Strong, strong, strong wick action. Okay, strong rejection. All right, looking at the weekly, we had a strong impulsive candle back. All right, we shot up and we closed right back into this zone. Okay, so we're still in an uptrend. All right, how do we know that? All right, we have higher low, higher low, higher low, and then higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. Okay, so if we want to be patient to see if we have a bounce or break situation here. Okay, so we can potentially buy if it maintains above this zone. TP would be the top right over here. TP would be the top. Stop loss would be set right underneath. Or if it ends up breaking, retest, we can sell. TP1, TP2 would be down here. Stop loss would be back into this inside the trend line. Okay, about 50%. Okay, so Euro Pound, USD, or I'm sorry, Euro JPY. All right, just reading the trend, we are on a downtrend. All right, but we are at some support. Okay, we're at support with our support and resistance line and with our trend line as well. All right, we're on the daily time frame, so if we bring out our RSI, we see we have some daily divergence. Okay, price is still getting pushed down, but we're still gaining strength. Okay, so we do have some divergence there. Okay, and just scaling down to the 4 hour. All right, we had a strong impulse to the upside. All right, we have these 4 hour candlesticks are, again, not looking very convincing, not looking very strong. All right, if we come back and it looks like we are testing these wick rejections right over here, we are testing this previous resistance zone, now support. Okay, so potential buy opportunities, again, just looking at this area, we have wick rejection here, wick rejection here, wick rejection here, wick rejection here. So a lot of buying pressure. Okay, so again, with the divergence, with the support and resistance, with the trend lines, the potential buying opportunity, we could potentially buy this back up to these swings. All right, using our Fibonacci tool from the swing high to our swing low, you guys can see this is a 61 fib. Okay, 61 fib retracement. All right, we had that impulse. That retracement is a 61 fib, so this is a nice TP target. All right, we have some confluence with our Fibonacci, with our take profits. Okay, so it's important to stack these confirmations because we need to know, where are we taking our profits? Do we still need to be in the trade? Why are we in the trade? Are we getting in the trade? So it's nice to have, a lot of confluence and a lot of confirmations on your setups. All right. But the biggest ones, like I said, is the trend, support and resistance, and some candlestick reversals. Okay. And I also see we do have a trend line, so we can look to buy it up here and potentially look for a selling position when it gets back down here. All right, you guys. Again, I'm liking how these 4 hour candlesticks are looking. Let's go ahead and jump to the 1 hour. If we see a strong pin bar close off this 1 hour, and then the next candle is bigger than the previous and engulfs the previous size, we can look to buy. All right, so that's EJ and U. Back at some well-respected weekly support. All right, looking at the past, we had some rejection right over here. So we're looking for the same thing to happen. All right, we had a strong rejection. All right, and you can see the size of the candlesticks are starting to slow down. Okay, I can see price potentially come down to the bottom of this wick to make a double bottom. You guys, even though we're at a strong support zone, you guys can see, yes, we are at a strong support zone. It doesn't mean price is going to automatically reverse. Okay, you have to keep in mind, a lot of people are selling, they're selling. So there's a lot of selling pressure in the market. All right. And when buyers are buying at the bottom, all right, the market's still getting pushed down because all that selling pressure. All right. That buying pressure coming up is slowing down prices. Okay. And with the more buyers coming in, that is when you actually see that turn. Okay. So it doesn't automatically reverse. The buyers coming in are slowing down that price. Okay. That's why you see the size of the candlestick slow down. All right. And with more buyers, all right, you tend to get that strong reversal right after that. Okay. So yes, we are at a strong support zone, but it doesn't mean we're going to get that rejection right away. Okay, price needs to set itself up. All right, we can see some inverted head and shoulders. We can see some some M's and W's, whatever it may be, those patterns that tend to reverse. Okay, but to continue, okay, I can potentially see price come down here. All right, if it wants to reverse, it has to do something like this. Okay, so this is like a reversal pattern. All right, breaks the trend. All right, and it would be an inverted head and shoulders as well. And sometimes it'll even go further down, probably below, okay, just to trick people, to convince retail traders, to convince people in the market to sell. All right, when they sell, they're placing money into the market. All right, and if price just snaps right back above, everybody who sold is trapped. Okay, so it can either hit your stop loss, or you can either let it blow your account. All right, so again, this would be considered a reversal pattern. Okay, and what changes these prices? All right, people. What is the market? All right, we are the market. All right, people, you and me, hedge funds, money managers, wherever it may be. All right, we have an influence because we have a change in our attitudes. How do we feel about the market today? What's going to happen tomorrow? I was bullish earlier, but now I don't know how I feel. So this attitude change, changes the volatility, which changes the movement, which eventually changes price change. Okay, so we need to be aware of this. All right, but other than that, that was NZD USD CAD USD CAD. We were on an uptrend. Okay, just starting from scratch. All right, identifying the trend. All right, we were on an uptrend. A lot of wick rejection, wick rejection, wick rejection, wick rejection. Again, we like to use trend lines and channels to identify where price is going. Now that we know that price is going up, all right, we know we should only be looking for buying positions. Okay, so we had this swing high up here. All right, so it looks like we are failing to make higher highs. Okay, again, we have a higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. This was the last higher high. These two highs right over here are below this previous one. Okay, but we are still making lower or higher low, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. All right, and scaling down even further. We actually had price test this trend line right today, actually. And this would have been a nice buying opportunity. Again, my eyes were away from the charts. We had a nice pin bar right over here, nice hammer. Okay, this hammer right here was an indication that buyers were still in this market. Okay, if I use this tool right here, just space it out, you guys see we do have our requirements. Okay, what are our requirements for us to get into a trade? Okay, again, the trend, which we had that uptrend. We were on higher highs, higher lows. 2, we had resistance to support. Okay, we had resistance, support, resistance. We broke again, and we became support. Okay, and you guys, the last thing we had was candlestick reversal. Okay, so we had a rejection candlestick. All right, that hammer formation. Okay, this hammer formation gave us the indication that buyers were still in this market. All right, with these 3 factors, we could have taken this trade. All right, stop loss would have been right below the trend line. All right, and TP would have been, again, these swings right up here. Okay, so TP would have been hit. All right, I was a little cautious about this setup just because on the higher time frames, we were back at the 61 Fibonacci. We were testing our 61 Fib, 71 Fib now, I believe, from that swing high. Okay, And again, looking back at these higher lows, all right, we were failing to make higher highs. All right. But other than that, you guys can see by using the trend, resistance, support, and a candlestick reversal. Okay, this would any one of these would have been great setups. Okay. Now we can wait for price to get back up here. All right, let's go ahead and just bring this down a little bit lower. Okay, so if we see right now, we do have some strong rejection. All right, strong 4-hour hammer, a strong 4-hour hammer / pin bar formation. All right, if those of you want to wait for one more candlestick just to confirm if it engulfs this previous one, or if you guys want to get in on potential selling position, stop loss would be above about 30 pips. TP would be below. Or if you guys want to hold off just to confirm, if you want to wait for a break of this trend line as well. Okay, we have a lot of options to execute. All right, so it depends on your trading strategy and your style. Are you aggressive? Are you conservative? All right, are you going to be paying attention to the charts, or do you have time to look at the charts? You can set reminders, but again, it's important to know. But other than that, we have 1 minute left, you guys. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. I hope you guys gained some value. If nothing changes by 9, all right, we potentially won't have a call. But if we do see some volatility or some movement, all right, we could potentially send a link or just send setups. All right, but other than that, we will be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time, New York session. Just going to go over some potential pairs setups. And other than that, stay tuned this Friday. All right, we will be having that hot topic. Okay. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, you guys know where to reach us. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. Hope everyone has a wonderful day, and God bless.